section as well. Breaking news now. Firefighters are giving an update on an overnight fire at a school in Racine.
It broke out at Mitchell School. Let's go to our Jonah Kaplan, who's live on the scene.
Lalpando. Mark.
Great. Okay, here's the rundown. At about 1:44 a.m. this morning, the fire department received a call of a possible fire from an alarm system within Mitchell Junior High School. The fire department responded with our normal response. The first in engine company was Engine 5. Upon their arrival, they discovered that there was smoke in the area, and when they entered the south side of the school off the Gillen Street side, they had smoke in the first floor hallway. They then advanced a fire attack line into that area, and they got to where the gymnasium is on the south end of the building, and they'd seen that they had heavy fire within that gymnasium. Shortly after they got in there and started attacking the fire, we had a structural collapse in that area. That area of the building has steel web trussed roofs, and as steel gets hot, of course, it bends, and then that whole thing collapsed into the gymnasium area. We then initiated an extra alarm response at that time, and within 15 minutes we had all of the city resources from the city of Racine committed to the fire. All our fire engines, our pumpers, trucks, and Quint companies. We then requested what's called a special alarm, not a Mavis alarm, but a special alarm, and we requested a pumper from South Shore Fire and Caledonia Fire, and they came to the fire and they assisted us for this fire. As you'll see in your photos, and as you'll see later on, there's heavy damage to the gymnasium area. The area is totally destroyed. It has collapsed down onto itself. But the crews were very aggressive in their fire attack, and they were able to stop the fire from extending into the school itself. We do have smoke and water damage to the first, second floor of the school and the basement area. There will be no school at Mitchell School more than likely for the remainder of this week while they clean that up. But they were aggressive in that they were able to stop the fire from going into the hallway and extending north and south into the elementary or the junior high sections of the school. So the crews have been on scene. We declared the fire under control at about 4:30 a.m. this morning. The fire loss was stopped. And at this point in time, we have overhaul going on, and one of our areas of concern is the roof area to the north of the gymnasium. As with all commercial buildings, what you have is you have a buildup of insulation tar on top of a concrete roof, and the fire is burning into that tar. So the crews are cutting that away so that the fire doesn't keep going north. But at this time, the main portion of the building is only affected by heat, water, and smoke damage at this time. But the area where the fire did occur, the gymnasium area, we do have structural failure, and we do have walls that are leaning in on that area at this time. So at this time, if you have any specific questions, I can try and answer, or we can go from there.
Chief, you're live right now on today's TMJ4. What effect has the cold weather had on what's going on in the firefight?
The cold weather has had a very dramatic effect. As you can well imagine, hose lines freeze up, nozzles freeze up. This area of the city is also served by 6-inch water mains. And we had several pumpers pumping water off these 6-inch water mains, which reduced the water pressure in the area, and it reduced the amount of water we had available for firefighting. But yes, the cold has had an impact. We had one firefighter who was injured. It was not related to the fire itself, but he slipped on ice as he was advancing a hose line on the outside of the building. So he was taken to the hospital with a leg injury, and he's already heading back to the station at this time.
This is an old brick building. Some of it dates back, I understand, to the 1930s. What's in a gymnasium that's so flammable? If you think maybe a library, there's a lot of books, but what's in the gymnasium?
Well, if you think about gymnasiums, you go back to your school days, you have wooden floors, you have decorations that are on the wall that are all flammable. You have electrical in the area that could, if there was a short circuit, could generate heat and set your flammables on fire. My understanding is there was also a warming kitchen in the area. That's the area where they warmed up meals. And the one end of the school, the students actually ate their meals in the gymnasium there. So we have multiple areas that we have to look at, and obviously we have no idea where the fire started until we actually get in there. So, but yes, that's, there are flammables within a concrete building there that can catch fire. Your wood floors, your decorations, anything that was on the walls. If there was issues with the heating equipment, that obviously would be a potential source of heat for the fire as well.
Right, Lieutenant, you're the lead investigator, so what are some of the things that you've seen?
Well, I arrived on scene shortly after 3 o'clock this morning, and I wasn't able to get in until just about an hour ago. I have seen the first floor, second floor, and the basement. The fire has been contained to just the gymnasium area, which is really good for us because we don't have to check for causes of extensions to the hallways and to the different floors. Even the classrooms next door to the gymnasium have only been affected by smoke and water. Everything was contained to the gym. The concerns we have are the potential collapse of the walls right now, so before we get in we have to make sure everything is structurally stable. I can only investigate from the outside right now. We'll get in as soon as we can.
We heard earlier that actually the burglary alarm was the one that actually got everyone's attention. Does that mean this is being investigated as suspicious?
No, that's not true. Whatever happened at the time could have just sent off any alarm, and that's just the first one that went off.
So what effect does the cold weather have when you say, I mean, the water damage? That mean things are going to be freezing in the building?
Right now, water's flowing out of the building pretty well and going through the sewer system very well, but as soon as the water stops flowing, it'll freeze. So that's going to be an issue because we're going to have 3 or 4 inches of standing ice in the building and in that area. The basement, I hope, gets evacuated through the sewer system, but yeah, that's going to be a big issue. And also, if it freezes up on the roof, we have extra weight on the roof that we have to be content with.
How did you find out? I mean, what effect does this building, that being old, I mean, have this on the safety? Imagine that you're probably pulled back a lot of firefighters because of the threat that it could potentially fall on top of them.
Correct. Like Chief Hansen said, that with the steel trusses, that's always a concern of ours. You only have a short amount of time before the heat affects those trusses and falls in. So right now, everything, all the damage, all the collapse damage has been in the gym. Hopefully it won't affect the other parts of the school.
Excellent. Thank you, Lieutenant. And that's what we have right here live in front of the RACINE School. Jonah Kaplan, today's TMJ4.
All right, Jonah, thanks very much for that live report. So it looks as if, or sounds as if, there will be no school, at least for the remainder of this week.
Well, I don't know.
Fire.
Right. I mean, you know, when he talks about all the ice, I mean, even the cleanup efforts, it's great that it sounds like they stopped it from spreading to the larger part of the building, but how are they going to get all that ice out of there?
Right, what a mess. 3 to 4 inches of ice in the building. We'll have much more of Live at Daybreak right after this.